This is the kayak. It is 12 foot 6 inches long, as I understand it, 41 inches wide at its widest point. Now, the way I understand this is it has a little bit more aggressive and tapered front end, and I believe even possibly a little bit more tapered in the back end than the Frontier, which I think is pretty close to it in overall weight capacity and size. This one has a tremendous drainage system in it. One of the things, and I believe I touched on this out on the water, people have wondered if that would be hard to stand on, cause any issues. I had no problems with it at all. I'm not really a great stander in a kayak. I mean, I'm 65 years old, kind of wobble a little bit, but I had no issues at all with the drainage system in this. And the boat was relatively dry, although I was surprised at how much the water came up in the scupper holes. Now, it never actually came up onto the deck or even up into the drainage tracks, actually, but it was right at the top of the scupper holes, which surprised me for something with a 600-pound capacity. But, you know, like I say, I never had water anywhere in the kayak. I never had any problems at all. So it's a great kayak. I love the track system on it. You know, it's got just a ton of track that makes it easy to rig. I have not actually set it up yet. I threw the depth finder and a bucket in it and took it out to the lake because I was just excited to get out there. This thing is very, very easy to paddle. Comes with a swivel seat, which I found nice because I could actually swivel all the way around and fish backwards. I sat for a while with my seat sideways with my feet on the gunnel. I'm sure when the water's a little warmer and I was in shorts, I could have probably hung my feet over into the water and not had a problem. It is amazingly stable. I was really, really impressed with the stability of it. It also, I found it to be very easy for a large kayak to paddle. Like I say, there's a couple of things maybe they could have done a little bit better. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. They have 2 knockout plates here. If you want to wire this thing, I guess that's handy. You unscrew those and there's plastic behind it that you can cut out and then put this plate back over it, which I understand has a silicone gasket that will keep it from leaking. That's great. I wish they would put a little clearance in there so if you wanted to use them for something else, like on the Old Town Predator, you could mount fish finders or rod holders or something. Now, I don't know, the rod holder might get in the way of paddling, but it might not. But the way it is, it's down there where there's really no room underneath for the head of a bolt or anything like that. So that one I found to be a little bit odd. Also, they put the rod tip holders up here, which I thought was great. But unlike some of the kayaks, there's really not a place back here to drop the reel down into. It would have been nice to see this tackle box track back a little farther, back in here where if you didn't want to use it for a tackle box, you could have hung your spinning reel down in there or turned your casting reel upside down and put it in there. But that being said, I used that all day with my spinning rod, and I never once thought I was going to lose the rod over the side. So, you know, there again, maybe that's something that it sounds great to me, but, you know, maybe it's not that impractical. I don't know. They also put these 2 flush mount rod holders in here, which I would have just as soon actually they just left that with the plastic up there and the guy install them himself if he wanted or have an option for it or something. These aren't, I guess maybe a flag or something can go in there, but I can't see using them. You know, my crate would have a couple of rod holders on it that'd be a lot easier to reach. But there again, like I say, you can spin this seat around and fish out of the back with no stability issues at all. And so, you know, maybe I'll find those to be more handy than I thought. This, I kind of laughed when I heard somebody else talking about it, but I will say this, and then like I say, I'm not really going to get much on the features and benefits. I'm going to throw in a little bit of on the water footage here in a second. But that U-shaped metal handle is absolutely unbelievable. It makes this kayak handle a good 20 pounds lighter than it's not much more difficult to handle than my Flint. That handle is just unbelievable. I suspect it won't be long till an awful lot of people are going to copy that because That rigid metal handle like that is just wonderful. The Flints had that ridiculous little toggle handle on a cord, and it was terrible. It is really, for as large as this kayak is, that it's awful easy. I mean, I did that left-handed while I was still holding the camera. I like the transducer mount. I just stuck that under there with my trolling motor mount on it, and just run a big old industrial wire tie, zip tie down to it. It held it fine. This is odd. The Pursuit, I know, has the replaceable piece of, disposable plastic that you can grind up. That's just from yesterday's trip. And, while that's nothing that's going to get through there, I'm sure, for a long, long time, I am surprised that it doesn't have a replaceable drag plate on there. It's a $1,600 boat, which, in the world of kayaks these days, I know is not the most expensive boat, but that's a lot of money, and I'm real surprised that they didn't do that. One other thing, while I've got this upside down, you'll notice I think there's 7 or 8 scupper holes in this. I can't remember. Let's see. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it looks like 6 plus the transducer one would be 7, I guess. So that's plenty of them. But the other nice thing is they put these just basically formed channels in there, I believe, to just reinforce the rigidity of the deck. And I've heard that the Frontier deck will move a little on you when you're walking around on it. And some guys say it'll occasionally, in the heat, deform a little bit. This deck's as solid as walking around on the floor in your house.